This segment is sponsored by Dennis Goins of DennisGoins.com. I'm Lady Charmaine, and I'm back with financial advisor Dennis Goins. How you doing, Dennis?
I'm fine, Lady Charmaine. How are you?
Good, and I want to let everybody know that today we're going to be talking about 4 blunders that can leave you poorer. Not just poor, but poorer. So, Dennis, can you explain to us what those 4 blunders are?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. 4 money blunders that can leave you poor. How are your money habits? Are you getting ahead financially, or does it feel like you're running in place? It may come down to behavior. Some financial behaviors promote wealth creation, while others lead to frustration. And obviously there are certain other factors that come into play when determining a householder's financial situation. But we find out that behavior and attitudes toward money rank pretty high up on the list. And there was a study done late 2014 by a Denver-based National Endowment for Financial Education, which surveyed 2,000 adults from the 10 largest U.S. metropolitan areas, and found that 64% wanted to make at least one financial resolution for 2015. And the top 3 financial goals for the new year were, number 1, building retirement savings, number 2, setting a budget, and number 3, creating a plan to pay off debt. Now, all is well and good, but the respondents didn't feel so good about their financial situation. About 1/3 of them felt that the quality of their financial life was worse than they expected it to be. In fact, 48% had said they were living paycheck to paycheck, and 63% reported facing a sudden or major expense last year. So, faith and lackluster wage growth aside, good money habits might help to reduce those percentages in 2015. And there are certain habits that tend to improve household finances, and other habits tend to harm them. So I'm going to talk about the not-to-do list for financial blunders, which can make you poor. And some of us have heard these before, but it's never it's always good to kind of review and update. Money blunder number 1, spending every dollar that comes through our hands. That's money blunder number 1. My grandmother used to say that money is burning a hole in your pocket. You can't wait to spend it. We all have money that burns a hole in our pocket. Can't wait to spend it. And too many households are disposing of that income, spending it when they could save or invest it. And moreover, some are spending money that they don't even have through credit cards. So that's something that has to change. You can't spend every dollar that comes through. You got to save some. Money blunder number 2. You pay others before you pay yourself. Our economy, 70% of our economy in the United States is consumer-driven. So we're spenders in this economy. But every dollar that brings us an additional chance to buy stuff, to spend stuff, and add on consumer debt. And that works against wealth. I mean, if you spend it, obviously you can't save or invest it. That's just the way it works. So how many bills do you pay each month? How much money is left over after you paid your bills? The less debt you have, the more you have to pay yourself in creating wealth. So you got to pay. You're paying others before you're paying yourself. In other words, you have too much debt. That's money blunder number 2. Money blunder number 3. You don't save anything. You don't save anything. You make it on Friday, Monday morning it's gone right back, right? So you don't save anything. You got to pay yourself first. Means building an emergency fund for a strong cash position, because things will happen. Everybody's going through something, and something happens, and you don't have the money to have that major car repair, that appliance repair, or whatever. Then you got to borrow against it, or credit card, or so you got to develop an emergency fund to have a strong cash position. United States personal savings rate is 5%, and that's an increase. In 2007, it was only 2.6%. But in China, guess what the saving rate is in China, Lady Charmaine?
What is it? I can't even guess.
50%.
Wow.
50%. So as you see, we as this country, in this country, we are consumers, not savers, and that needs to change. And then of course, money blunder number 4 is we invest impulsively. We're buying what's hot. We're chasing returns. We're investing in what we don't fully understand. And these are all variations of bad habits. In the investment market, you should buy low and sell high. And the last few days, the stock market has been doing a few crazy things because of some of the concerns about the interest rate. So some people that are in investments, 401ks particularly, the market dropped 200 or 300 points. So what a lot of people do that's in the stock market, after the market's dropped 200 or 300 points, what do? They take the money out of the stock market. Well, as you've heard me say before, Mike Tyson's favorite quote is, everybody has a plan until they get hit. Well, when the market's dropped 300 points, you've already gotten hit. It's too late to do anything now, so you got to ride it out. So what they do is they take the money out after they've gotten hit, and then once the stock market comes back up, then they put the money back in the stock market. You should do just the opposite. You should buy low and sell high. So when it drops, ride it out. If you don't have the stomach for it, you shouldn't have been in the stock market in the first place. As the market comes back, then you'll come back and regain that. But a lot of people are just going for the hottest deal. And now things are happening with gas and oil and gold. And a lot of people don't. The average person doesn't understand that, and that's how you really get taken and lose a lot of money. You got to invest in what you understand and what you know. Kind of go for what you know. So, but these are some of the key four money blunders that could leave you poor. I'm sure that none of these are affecting you, ladies, Charmaine.
Of course, several are. I must say, I am not astute when it comes to finances. I told you before, I am the spender. I am the person that if it comes in, I'm trying to spend every dime I get. I'm just being honest. For some reason, I don't care if I got $10 left in my pocket. I could see something. Oh, that is $9.99. I could afford that. You know what I mean? But I think where mine comes from is because my mother was like that. And so I'm glad that I have a husband who is a saver. So I know I'm not the only person out there that's like this, but I thank God that my husband is a saver because we balance each other out. Because as I told you before, I'll leave you in the poorhouse just because I like to spend. And I don't want to say on frivolous things, but you wouldn't know what I really spent my money on because I'm like, oh, okay, that's a cute little bracelet right there. I don't buy a whole lot of expensive things, but it'd be a multiple of things. Somebody may spend money on an expensive bracelet that's $500. I might buy several of them. They may add up to $500. You see what I'm saying? So I'm a spender in that way, and I like to go out to eat, just different stuff like that. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well yeah. As I say, the difference between men and boys is the size of the toys, and I like everyone else. I like toys, but at the same time, once you spend on those toys, you got to have money left over to reallocate to save and invest. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying and spending and going for the toys, but you can't spend it all on toys. Some people buy those Mercedes and those BMWs and they eat hot dogs, and that's not necessarily a wise gesture to do. I mean, but at the same time, it's okay to drive BMWs and Mercedes and Porsches, but you got to have some money left over for a rainy day fund. And
it's funny that you say that, though, because I was dropping someone off at an apartment complex last week, and I said, boy, that's a shame, because there was a beautiful white Porsche. You can tell it was a 2015 Porsche parked in the parking, under the parking stall at an apartment complex. I said, now that's what you call priorities in the wrong direction. I would rather be having my little hoopty or Toyota parked in a home than having a Porsche parked in an apartment complex. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right. But then again, you got to have that Gucci bag too. So hey, it all depends on.
But see, I'm not a Gucci girl.
A lot of the guys like the Porsches, while the women like the Gucci bags, and
I don't. I don't even like Gucci. I don't even.
Oh, well, Coach, Gucci, whatever stuff.
See, I'm not a brand. See, that's my thing. I'm not a brand name kind of person. You know what I mean? So you won't find me spending a lot of money on brand names. I just can't see myself doing that just because of your name. So I'm not going to pay for anything because of somebody's name, and I know how much you paid to make that. I just refuse to do that. I just spend my money on just different type of stuff, but it's not expensive type of stuff. I just spend frivolously. So that's what I need a whole lot of help on. But I wanted to ask you one thing. Do you think because why America is broken, we cannot save? Is it because we want things bigger, we want things better, and we want things now? Because even if you go to McDonald's, everything is about supersizing for $1 more. Do you think that's an area that we're getting caught up here in America?
Oh, that's the status of our society. I mean, we want it now, we want it yesterday. I mean, and we want as much as we can do it. I mean, and again, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying it has to be in moderation. I mean, if you're spending money on stuff and don't have an emergency fund, you got, and your point's well taken, if you have a Porsche sitting in your driveway and you lose your job next week, then in a few weeks, if you don't pay that Porsche, the repo man is going to come and take that Porsche. I mean, so particularly if you don't have it in the garage where you can hide. So if you guys sit in the carport, he's going to come get that Porsche.
You ain't lying.
It's you got to be able to prioritize it. But yeah, we want it now. I mean, we want it instantaneously, and that's just our society. And I think that we have to be able to have, in moderation, and have an emergency fund for a rainy day. Because a rainy day is going to happen, and everybody loves the rain. Everybody loves the sunshine, but can you stand that rain? And that's going to be the key. That's going to be the key.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Mr. Goins, for sharing that with us today. If people wanted to reach you, find out more about you, where can they find you?
Thank you very much. They can access me on my email address, dennis@dennisgoins.com. My website is www.dennisgoins.com. And also this and the other segments, they can also access it through YouTube. They just search Dennis Goins and Associates, and they'll see several of the segments that we've done here. And a lot of people are doing that and referring back to some of this information. So, and of course, LinkedIn, Dennis Goins and Associates on LinkedIn. So we're out there, and we're getting a lot of response from these segments, and I appreciate that opportunity that you allow me.
Wonderful. And again, we were talking about 4 money blunders that can leave you poorer. You can make sure you check out or YouTube Dennis Goins, or just go to DennisGoins.com for more information. Thank you again, Dennis, and I look forward to talking with you next week.
Very good. Thank you very much. Have a good week.
Thank you for listening. If you would like to learn more about financial investments, contact Dennis Goins at DennisGoins.com.